All right, guys. Um, let's just look at Bitcoin here now. The I posted yesterday that that we should drop from up here. I was trying to short up here, and we should drop down. Now that was supposed to be probably at the 38% as I made in my video yesterday, between the 38 and the 50%, and it dropped down into this area. It was supposed to be a buy. Now I didn't buy that. I bought coins this morning. Well, the morning here, close to the open, or after the open, after that crash. But you can see what happened here is we actually did dip into the level that I talked about yesterday, and we're holding the trend line at this point. We're still holding the trend line, and it still looks all right for a bounce. Well, as long as these lows hold, we could see some sort of bounce back up. Now, if we actually look at BTC, we are bearish, right? There's no question about that. This rejection, in theory, should fail, and we should go lower. That's what this candle is telling us. It's telling us that we are bearish in a way. Now, can the bear move fail? Yes. As I talked about in the video yesterday, we can have failed moves, and Bitcoin needs a failed move, right? As we looked at the 3 month chart from yesterday, we need a failed move. Bitcoin is not in a good position right now. We need to have a failed move. We have 6 days left until a new 3 month candle. The last time we got one of these was down here, and we all know what happened. The bounce failed, and we ended up rolling over. So at this point, we have to think that we are bearish. You have to kind of have that bearish bias, but be open to the failed move happening if things can work out well. But even if we're bearish, a bounce here could easily still give us a 50% bounce in altcoins on the new month, for example. It's very possible if we bounce up here to take liquidity up here a little bit or whatever, we the altcoins could get some relief, and we could actually have a decent bounce. But of course, you all know if we bounce and flip red, we need to be very careful, because this we could come back down here to the $20,000 level, or 24. I've got my alarm set at 24. I would like to see the 24 level. Not that I would like to see it. I would the retrace would be from memory 61% maybe. Pierce at the 61% retrace down here. So I think that was my thinking behind it. So technically it is bearish at this point, because we're running out of time. This Bitcoin is running out of time to finish strong at this point. 6 days left. So at the way things stand, a bounce would probably be a short for lower prices, or wherever it dips to. That would be the natural move. If we close like this, that would be the natural move. A bounce at some point would probably be a short. The outlier is that we have a failed move, right? And failed moves are not always easy to come by, right? They don't always happen, but that's what Bitcoin needs at this point. We need a failed move, and if we get a failed move, we're on the way to $100,000, because if we get that failed move, we will go a lot higher. So it's interesting, and of course, if Bitcoin does go lower, if we don't get a failed move, the altcoins are all going to drop lower, and maybe they're all going to put in a bit of a base again down on the lows, before maybe coming back up. The Fed is still printing money. The Fed is still buying bonds. Inflation is rising. Inflation will continue to rise. There'll be no stopping this. You're not going to stop it in its tracks, at least. That'll take a long time to stop, and it'll take lots of interest rate hikes to help it and to cool off the economy. So, that's not until, as the Fed said, there'll be 2 rate hikes by 2023. We still have a full year, even before we get to 2023. Okay, so I've got it's a different circumstance. Obviously, this is a weekly chart. What is KNC? What I'm interested in, though, is this sort of top right, and this big red candle back down. It was very bearish, a very bearish close after a topping candle and a bearish stop hunt at all-time highs. And I remember, I remember this candle, and that's why I came to look at this. You can see what happened here now. There's a weekly chart, but I remember this, and everybody was thinking at the time it's going to go lower, and we opened up and completely just created a bullish engulfing, and we pushed right back up. And what it did was it filled out the range, okay, and it made a big, large, choppy, filled out range. But notice very importantly, the yellow and green 9 and 20 EMA, actually they all held. Now these are pushing up here. When we open a new candle, these will all start to jump up higher, and they'll be doing something like that. Now they won't be over here yet, of course, but what I'm saying is they are underneath supporting price, a lot like this here over on this side. So we could have some sort of situation like this. Now, a lot of people might think it's unlikely at this point, but you know, it is possible. So as long as we are green on this new month, right, you know, we have a chance of creating something like this. And then even the next one, you know, we could have a small candle like this. You can see how long it took. It took 2 candles to actually get back out of the 3 candles actually. If I, you know, if we draw that here, you can kind of see that there was, well, 1, 2, and 3 candles for a long period of time before we actually broke up, and we even dipped back down after that. So, for example, you know, it might surprise people and do something like this, and then this would be a filled out range. The range will be getting very similar to this, where it's filled out, and the yellow 9 EMAs are supporting price underneath here, and then finally you get that breakup. Now this is actually is a 3-month chart. Oh, pardon me. Now, you know, that would mean another year, basically, of before we get the breakout, or at least maybe not a year. You know, 6 months, and then on a brand new year we could push higher. So Michael Burry, you know, for example, he's very bearish, and we are looking bearish. There's no question about that. This is a very bad 6-month candle in a way. Yes, so we can bounce up and take liquidity, but it's a poor candle implying that we could roll over. And look at the volume also. But it is possible, right? It is possible. So Bitcoin might surprise a lot of people yet. And Michael Burry was early. He was 2 years early in calling for the top in the financial crisis, 2007. He started shorting in 2005. Okay, so he was early, and yes, he was eventually right. But so he started shorting in 2005, right? Sometime in 2005. I'm not sure exactly where it was. There's July 2005. You can see that he was very early. He started shorting here, so he's not that good of a chartist. He just has a lot of money, and knows it'll come down at some point. So let's hope he's wrong about Bitcoin, or doing the same thing. He's a bit early on it, and hopefully Bitcoin can push up like this did. I don't know why he's shorting here, because there's no topping signal. There's no reason to short this. Anyway, let's hope he's early again.